crippling to many, but each time I see one of my clients lean into uncertainty and face their fears, it fills me with the utmost admiration. They are not broken. You are not broken. As a society, we are making progress in how we talk about mental health, but there is still a long way to go. Instagram hashtags and corporate well-being days can only get us so far, and there are still way too many people who think that difficult emotions are best kept under wraps, out of embarrassment or shame. I believe that therapy can help nearly everyone at some stage in their life, but I also think there is a great deal that is misunderstood about the therapeutic process. And I want to dispel some of the myths and misunderstandings in this book to reassure you that talking about mental health with a professional needn't either be terrifyingly vulnerable or endlessly self-indulgent. And how does that make you feel is structured around 4 client case studies. Any therapist reading this may be gasping at this point. Oh my God, this is heresy. What about confidentiality? Whilst this book shares the truth of how it feels to be a therapist, the confidentiality of my clients remains my top priority. For that reason, all client characteristics, representations, dates, and events have been scrambled and anonymized in such a way to ensure no one is identifiable. This safeguarding process has been backed up by rigorous clinical supervision and legal consultation. This book is my contribution to encourage more openness around mental well-being, as well as providing an insight into a field that is often left shrouded in mystery. In And How Does That Make You Feel, you will find out what it's like to live as a therapist, but also what it's like to exist as a very real and flawed human being. This includes spicy stories of conflict, tragedy, and mistakes. I include the stuff that's happening that few therapists would dare tell you about, and some stuff I wonder if I should have included at all. But if even a small part of you, after putting this book down, thinks that therapy seems more appealing or less scary, or that you're perhaps willing to mention therapy in casual conversation, then my main wish for this book will be fulfilled. The Inner Voices of the Therapist. I'd like to introduce you to my inner voices, very vocal characters that feature prominently throughout this book. Training to be a therapist, as well as going through therapy myself, helped me to develop a strong sense of self-awareness. Part of my emotional development, including my anxiety recovery, was to identify the different thoughts and voices that my mind liked to throw at me throughout the day. One morning I took out a pen and decided to label them all as my week unfolded. Over time, I began to imagine these voices as characters at a big round thought table, each voice squabbling, debating, and fighting for attention in my mind. The voices you'll encounter in my inner dialogue throughout the therapy sessions are analytical, seeing things from the perspective of counseling theory. Anxiety, the voice of worry that focuses on threats and unlikely catastrophes. Biology, hunger, fatigue, pain, discomfort, toileting, temperature, etc. Compassion, the willingness to understand and help. Critic, a judging voice. Detective, the voice that searches for clues and meaning. Empathy, trying to imagine and experience how they are feeling. Escapist, the voice encouraging me to avoid difficult feelings. Intuition, a nudge from the gut that goes beyond rationale and reason. Irreverence, bizarre and unexpected thoughts that creep into the therapy room. Savior, the desire to save a person outside the realms of professional duty. Trigger, jealousy, anxiety, anger, defensiveness, associated trauma. Volition, metacognitive intervention, or, in less technical language, choosing to listen to a more appropriate voice than the one that initially arises. Daphne. I glanced at the clock as Tony took a moment to reflect on what he had just shared with me. This had been a particularly groundbreaking session, as Tony and I had been working hard on uncovering why he often felt uneasy when he found himself on his own. However, this deeply therapeutic moment was marred by my stupid decision, moments before he knocked on the door, to quickly down a large Americano. Biology.